Bo Nix is one of the most interesting prospects we have in the upcoming NFL draft. Coming out of Oregon with 5 years, 61 SEC and Pac-12 conference starts under his belt, which is the most of all time by any quarterback, at the elderly age of 23 and soon to be 24, his birthday's in about a week. How do we rank a prospect who's literally been in college longer than anyone else in college football history? Bo Nix's game from 2022 to 2023 is completely different. After the 2022 season, I was essentially out on Bo Nix as a true quarterback prospect for the NFL. But after watching film over the past year, Nix's game has grown a lot, and he's jumped a few levels. In 2022, I just felt that Oregon ran a pretty limited playbook. Short, one-read stick routes, slants, and a ton, and I mean a ton of bubble screens. But in 2023, you can see the playbook open up, and Nix made a plethora of throws. Still, not as often as I'd hoped from a prospect, but at least now I have evidence of him making all types of throws across the field. But still, like I mentioned, not as frequently as I'd like to see from a true NFL prospect. And you'll see statistically, in 2023, he was downright elite at the college level. 77% completion percentage, 4,500 yards, 45 touchdowns, which led the NCAA. And on the ground, still scored 6 touchdowns. And in a career where he's thrown for over 15,000 passing yards, 113 touchdowns to only 26 interceptions in 5 years, and 38 rushing touchdowns on the ground. I mean, this guy is one of the best college players we've ever seen from a career standpoint. But yet, I'm not solely sold on him being a really high draft pick in the 2024 NFL draft. Bo Nix just stands out to me as your prototypical super high ceiling, but very, very low floor prospect. And today, we're going to watch some film on Bo Nix's career, and I'll show you exactly why I have the feeling that Bo Nix can either be a standout prospect and blow the doors off all his expectations, or he could flame out of the NFL just as quickly. So the one thing with Bo Nix is that he's always willing to dump the ball down no matter what the down is. And sometimes that's great, and I'll show you a few examples of when it's a really great idea for him to do that. But also, it gets him in trouble at certain times. But here, against Utah, it's a really smart idea. I mean, he looks right and then automatically flips left because he sees, hey, the running back's pretty much out of the backfield by himself on a 3rd and 6. He should easily be able to pick up this first down. And the running back does pretty easily. And then here's another play against Washington where Bo Nix looks left, that flips right, and then just does the little, if you want to call it an out route, a stick route to the tight end for, 5-6 yards on 2nd and 10. That's great. That helps, make the 3rd down manageable. That's great, respectable. But here's times where I go, man, I really wish you would have just held onto the ball a little bit longer and looked for something downfield. Here's another play against Washington in the Pac-12 championship where I go, hey, I understand Bo Nix. You want to get the first down. That's super awesome. Great. And you did it. But look at the throw that could have been a big play. Here he looks left and that blitzer's coming off the edge after he pretty much got unblocked. If Bo Nix was able just to flip right and throw the slant, this could have been a huge play. Now, listen. Major respect. You got the first down. You kept the chains moving. That's great. And we know a lot of college quarterbacks who take 1 million sacks. And that's something that Bo Nix really never does. But there's times where I want you to be a superstar. And I don't want you to just take the easy check down. 3rd down, respectable. But I need you to be able to make more than one read and find another open guy. Because if he did go left and right and saw this slant, that could have been a pretty big play. And here's just another play where I go, hey, I never really doubt Bo Nix knows where to go with the ball. I have zero doubts that Bo Nix knows how to check it down, when to throw it underneath, whether it's an out route, a stick route, a slant. He knows where to go with the ball. But once again, did he miss someone wide open in the end zone to where this should have been a touchdown? Possibly. And here's an example where I go, yeah, maybe that's a touchdown, right? You have the tight end or slot receiver who is doing a corner route. They're going to the back pylon. And if Bo Nix does throw this up, that number 3 corner at the very bottom of the screen is in backward pursuit. He's dropping back into coverage to where he might make a play on this ball and pick it off. But you'll see, and I'll show exact examples of Bo Nix's arm strength. I think Bo Nix could easily have just thrown a complete laser before the receiver really even makes a cut or right out of his break to where number 3 couldn't even be a factor on this play. So I think certain plays like this where Bo Nix is just so, apt to just dump it down to a receiver and take the safe play really limits him on easy touchdowns. Even though he scored, 42 of them this past season, there was still plays left on the board. So what I'm saying here is I'm glad Bo Nix knows how to read a defense and knows where to go with the ball. I mean, you'll see here against Georgia, he looks for, I guess you want to say, a wide receiver screen at the bottom of the screen, and it's not there. So he immediately flips left and gets the dump off pass for a first down. That's awesome, right? Great. I'm glad you can move the chains. My big concern and big worry is for as great as he is at these check down kind of throws, the 5 to 7 yard throws, which are great. I'm glad he can make those decisions and stick these throws. But we all know the NFL quarterbacks who drive us crazy by not throwing the ball downfield on a crucial third down play. The Kirk Cousins of the world. We've seen it so many times that defenses can just program a quarterback into taking the dump down. And sometimes Bo Nix is susceptible to that kind of deception. The check down king sometimes isn't great. And this throw basically shows exactly what I'm looking for. Here, right before halftime, you got 7 seconds left and you need to make a throw, right? You need to get the ball at least to near the 40-yard line for your kicker to even have a shot at a field goal. And here against Georgia, Bo Nix does it. He does the little, pump fake at the bottom of the screen and then fits it right between the corner and the safety. His receiver catches it and gets out of bounds. I mean, it shows off that Bo Nix, totally isn't afraid to do this. I wish he did it more where he didn't just settle for checkdowns. Because honestly, from watching the play, you'll see the 2 defenders break towards the receiver who does the little out route underneath. So they think that Bo Nix is just going to check it down and then they can tackle him and then end the half. But Bo Nix doesn't necessarily always have to check it down, right? He's not incapable of throwing the ball downfield, so he makes a great throw and they get points before half. Now, I just want to show you that Bo Nix does have a really strong arm. I mean, when you see it, the ball flies off his hand. And here, he does a nice double move, and he just is really great at fitting the ball between that gap. As people call it, the turkey hole, right between the corner and the safety. He gets it right there. And what I like is he gets the ball out with enough time for the receiver to actually make a move on the safety, which he does, and breaks it for a good touchdown. Now it's Stanford, so, probably not the best, strong free safety talent that are going to the NFL. But hey, get the ball to your receivers and let the guys make plays. And this is a concept that Oregon loved running in 2023. They're known as the kind of the screen RPO wide receiver screen team. And here is no exception. Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to overload one side of the field. They have the receiver on the outside coming in to basically look like he's going to catch the ball, but really he's there to block. So Bo Nix has the option to either dump it down to his running back on kind of like a little, flare out screen pass. He could throw it to the 2 other receivers that are going to go. One's going to go to the outside on a wheel route, and the other one's going to kind of just take the inside post / seam route. But Bo Nix has the arm strength to not just settle for the check down. And although I don't totally love that he kind of bails on the throw or kind of, falls away, but it almost doesn't matter because his arm is so strong. We'll talk about the footwork later. But his arm is so strong that he can just get the ball to his, believe it's a big slot tight end receiver in a hurry. He gets the ball to number 3 like wicked quick because his arm is so strong. So now at this point in the video, I just kind of want to show you the wow factor of Bo Nix, the really wow plays that make you go, hey, maybe he will be a first round pick or a second round pick. And like here, this is a really great back shoulder throw. He just doesn't do it all the time. But on his film, like here against Washington State, that throw pops up and you go, wow, okay. I'm glad you have that in the bag. It doesn't pop up super often, but at least I know you can do it. And here's something else that really surprised me, something that I never saw in his 2022 film, but come 2023 against Washington, oh yeah, like that's a really great fade. He threw it up top for his receiver to make a play on. His receiver couldn't get an arm up, but if we were talking NFL-wise, teams that might need a quarterback next year, don't the Minnesota Vikings, like, aren't they thrilled to have that throw go to Justin Jefferson? Or aren't the Denver Broncos really thrilled to have Cortland Sutton go up and make that catch? Like, that is a great ball. That's perfectly thrown. I'm 100% good with that. And here's another one against Stanford where I go, hey, Atlanta Falcons, aren't you thrilled that Kyle Pitts just went up and caught that ball? Or, Drake London, one of your big receivers, he put it in a great spot to where only his tight end can get it. I mean, that's great placement. All right, so now let me show you where Bo Nix is at his best, and it's in the improv game. I mean, this guy really isn't just purely a pocket passer. I mean, he's athletic, he can get out of the pocket, and to me, it seems like he kind of excels when you do get him out on the move. So here, he feels pressure off the edge, and he just gets on the run, and he throws across his body and finds a guy wide open in the middle of the field. I mean, this is the kind of player he is. He excels in chaos. And here's one of the plays that watching the film, I went, okay, wow. You could tell that he kind of has that special thing in him. He has that one thing that not every quarterback has, and that's kind of just him being a BSer. Like, he just makes plays out of nothing, kind of Josh Allen-y. And here it is. I mean, he's supposed to do a QB draw. And the last second, while being wrapped up and tackled, he has enough of an arm to, while being brought down, flip the ball out to the flat and get it to his receiver to get in the end zone. I mean, there's not many guys, even right now in the NFL, who can make this kind of throw. And here's just another throw in the red zone where I go, dude, that's really what you came up with? But it works out. Here, he comes off the play action, almost looks like an RPO, and he throws this insane across his body, basically doing a jump throw. It's the Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes stuff that you go, that's so great. But then the second that, Russell Wilson does it, you go, are you a freaking idiot? I can't believe he threw it. But hey, he has the arm strength and kind of just the intangibles to pull it off to where I go, hey man, if you're putting that on your resume, hey, more power to you. And here's one of the last kind of insane throws I'll show you, because truthfully at this point, you could just go look up his highlights if you want to see more throws. But here, against Washington, he gets blitzed right up the middle after his left guard just completely misses a block. And look at the throw. I mean, he does one of the other, kind of, I wouldn't say a jump pass, but it's more of a, I'm throwing with this with everything I got while trying to protect myself throws. And he just has the arm to completely pull it off. I mean, I say it time and time again, there's not many guys who can make this throw in the NFL. So now, after showing off kind of the high upside side of Bo Nix's game, now let me show you some concerns I have. And one is his footwork. So Bo Nix does not step into throws traditionally. And I think kind of as a society now, as a quarterback culture, we no longer tell our quarterbacks to step into throws. And I know that sounds ridiculous, and it sounds very old school of me to want my quarterbacks to really, be traditional and step into his throws. Now we believe in a quarterback culture where we want our quarterbacks to have the big, strong arms to kind of torque their body and really do a lot of hip rotation, which I understand. I respect, and I get where they're coming from. But on plays like this is the play where it doesn't work. If this play, which we know from earlier in the film study, if Bo Nix wants to check this ball down on a 4th and 3, where he needs to make sure that this receiver can catch the ball in stride to get a first down, this does not work out. Bo Nix does not step into his throw enough to let the receiver catch the ball in stride, turn, and get a first down. Sure, he does get a first down on this play because he's so wide open, but he has to kind of stop his route, come back to the ball, and then start up again. If you're throwing this ball to your big tight end in the NFL on kind of a pick route, and it's behind him, you're doomed. You need to step into throws. And that's one thing I wish Bo Nix did. For as great as an arm as he has, he doesn't always step into throws. And then here's just another play against Washington where I go, dude, what was your footwork on this one? I know he's been pressured all night, but he needs to remain calm and learn how to kind of navigate a pocket. Here, he just steps and fires, and you'll see, I'll slow it down, we'll really magnify and zoom in. His foot is just nowhere even close to being pointed towards where he wants to throw. It's the age-old rule, point to where you want to throw. And here, it's just not even close. So for the 2023 NFL Draft, Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington is another highly touted quarterback prospect, and he is kind of the opposite of Bo Nix. He is more of the traditional pocket passer. And from Bo Nix, I want to see him do what Michael Penix does. Michael Penix here feels pressure, and instead of looking to bail out and run and then throw, he basically just shuffles his feet within the pocket and then finds an open lane to throw to. Bo Nix just doesn't do this routinely enough. And at the next level, you have to be able to navigate through a pocket without ducking your head and running out. Bo Nix is your classic example of poor technique, but just uber talent to where it doesn't really matter about the technique. And here on this play, he recognizes the blitz, the one-on-one coverage, and he finds the receiver and hits him in a very nice throw while fading on the throw pretty dramatically. He gets pressure and he fades really aggressively. But if you look on this next play against Washington, one of the biggest footwork flaws I think Bo Nix has is when he's in the pocket, he kind of refuses to climb up. He usually looks to bail left and right, and if he does climb up, it's usually to just escape pressure. Here, there's pressure coming off the edge, and he does his signature, I have a big arm so I can throw the ball downfield, but he underthrows it. If he is able to just climb up in the pocket and throw this ball, he has a huge 60-yard touchdown. I mean, the running back has no safety help over the top, and he beats his defender. That should be a long touchdown. But because Bo Nix is unable to step up in the pocket and then throw the ball downfield, he gets the ball off early, he fades on the throw, and it falls incomplete. And now I just want to show you some plays that show off his athleticism. Now, Bo Nix was really active as a runner more at when he was in Auburn earlier in his career, but then this last year, he only ran for about 220 yards, where the previous season he ran for over 500. I don't know if this is more of just the collective, let's define you more as a passer rather than a runner kind of move, or I don't know if it was just a conscious effort to run less, but you'll see on some of these plays, I mean, they're running design QB draws, QB read options, scramble drills. He can really do it all. I don't think by any means at the next level he's going to be a dynamic runner where he's going to be rushing for over 500 yards a season. I find that hard to believe, but there's no reason he can't be in the same realm as his former teammate Justin Herbert, kind of in that Jordan Love kind of range where they could run for, the 200 to 300, 400 at the tops, but I don't see him being much more than that at the next level. So at the end of the day, after watching Bo Nix film, the thing that is apparent is, I don't know. It's so hard to judge this guy because you can see all the things that make him pretty special as a prospect. I mean, he has the athleticism. He has the huge arm that just the ball flies off, and he makes spectacular plays on film left, right, and center. But he doesn't do some of the basic things that I need for my quarterback to be successful in the NFL. He doesn't really have a great idea of what he's doing in the pocket. Like I mentioned, he doesn't climb the pocket super often. And when he does, he looks to get out left and right and bail and make a throw on the run rather than just kind of resetting and climbing in the pocket and finding another read. He doesn't do that routinely enough for me to really be comfortable with him as a high draft pick, and there's a lot of, on all the plays I showed you, did I show you any throws of him really going over the middle that wasn't a stick route? I need this guy to be able to have the confidence to climb up in the pocket, wait for the slot receiver to clear the safety and allow the receiver to come in on the, underneath route or on the, the in or the dig route and have him, make that throw over the middle. I never, ever see that on his film. And if I do, it's very rarely where it happens once a game. And it wasn't against great competition. So I need to know that Bo Nix isn't just going to be frantic at the next level. He is the true definition of super high upside because if he puts it all together, he has the tools and he's a weapon. But if not, is he just going to end up being this year's Sam Howell? A guy who can kind of start for, the Denver Broncos, my Denver Broncos, and not really do a lot and probably get benched by the end of the year for whoever? Maybe, but maybe not. It's a real 50-50 shot. And I think Bo Nix is this year's, just from doing, his scouting. I haven't really gotten anyone else yet, but he feels like this year's either boom or bust play. So if they're willing to take the risk on Bo Nix, good luck. And if not, maybe you won't be sorry you passed on him.